What an insane scoring weekend for Major League Soccer. So many goals, Major League scoring, which is what it's been deemed because there are these weekends where we just see a plethora of goals scored in the league. So many good games, so many high scoring games, and just so much to unpack. And we're going to talk about the biggest games, the highest scoring matches from this weekend. And the first game we have to start off with, because it was a big deal, it was LAFC versus the San Jose Earthquakes. Sun Heung-min making a debut in the Bay Area at Levi Stadium in front of 51,000 fans. And it was a great performance. The best performance that we've seen from LAFC since Sun Heung-min has signed with LAFC. And they changed it. They're playing five in the back. And I think this formation really worked. And even though there were still some things that were a little bit concerning, I think that this is what really works the best when they have Denis Bouanga playing up top next to Sun Heung-min. Now, starting off in the beginning of the match, 1 minute in, LAFC steal the ball, and then Smarliakov finds Sun Heung-min with an easy layup goal to score to get LAFC on the board. And you kind of feel like, okay, LAFC, we've seen this before. We've seen them score early on. We've seen Sun Heung-min be able to contribute to LAFC early in this game. Will they hold on to this lead, build on this lead, or will they crumble? Hey, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you give it a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are 180 subscribers away from 10,000. We're getting so close. And once we hit 10,000, we will be giving away a copy of FC 26 that you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Now, back to the video. But what was in store for the San Jose Earthquakes was pretty bad, right? It was not good. They looked terrible in this game. It looked very, very bad. Denis Bouanga scores in the 9th minute with an absolute rocket that ricochets off of the goalkeeper. He scores. Then in the 12th minute, he has a chip in. He scores again. And Denis Bouanga, this is what we have heard, or this is what a lot of the South Korean fans who have, just now recently started watching LAFC have been wanting to see from Denis Bouanga. They've heard, they've looked up, they've done the research. They said, okay, Denis Bouanga, he's supposed to be the best player on the team prior to Sun joining. He hasn't done much. He has been disappointing. He has been ineffective. This is what they were expecting when Sun Heung-min joined the team and what he would be able to do in contributing to this match. And this was on full display, and we saw what this team is capable of when they play like this, when they have their other players around Sun Heung-min contribute and, create chances, finish chances, whole different team. And this is why I think that they could be scary going down the line. But we saw that in the first half, LAFC completely dominated, I think, in the first half. Now, the San Jose Earthquakes did have 9 shots, 2 on target, but they weren't able to find the back. They found the back of the net in the 18th minute, Preston Judd. But it was 3-1 already. Felt like they were kind of chasing this game. LAFC they had less shots. They had 4 goals or 4 shots, 3 shots on target, but they were efficient. They were effective. They had bigger chances. And that was the difference in this match. And Denis Bouanga scored in the 87th minute to finish his hat trick. Probably the best performance, in my opinion, for Denis Bouanga in 2025. This is what they desperately needed. They needed somebody to step up other than Sun, and that's what exactly happened in this match. Now, like I said, the 5 in the back was an interesting formation. I thought it looked a lot better defensively, minus the Preston Judd goal that was given up. But I thought that it kind of gave them a security blanket. They had Tillman and Choinière and Delgado playing in the midfield. I thought they did okay. Choinière didn't have a great game. Palencia had the 2 assists. Palencia is just such a great fullback. He is a very, very good fullback. He's very underrated. I think he's probably the best fullback. Maybe not the best fullback in Major League Soccer, but he's definitely one of the best fullbacks in Major League Soccer. I thought he had an incredible game. Hugo Lloris had a great game. I just think collectively they dominated this match. Tafari, didn't think he had a great game. I think Tafari has always been inconsistent for LAFC. I don't think he's a starting quality center back in MLS, especially for a team that wants to win MLS Cup. But with the 5 in the back, it kind of gives them a little bit more breathing room. And I think that it helps the team out. So I think maybe this is what they're going to run with for the rest of the season. We know Steve Cherundolo will be out at the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if they're able to make any noise and put anything together. As far as the San Jose Earthquakes have completely collapsed down the stretch of the season. They were very good at the beginning of the year. They're ninth place in the East or in the Western Conference. Bruce Arena had the team firing on all cylinders. They started the season off very hot, but they've just kind of started to slow down. They lost their last 2 matches. A lot of losses. I mean, they got I think it's like 6 or maybe 5 or 6 losses in their last 10 matches, couple draws, maybe 2 wins. And they just haven't been playing well. They have not been playing well. They're really starting to stall towards the end of the season, which is a shame for them. But LAFC completely dominated this match. Now, the next game was Charlotte FC versus Inter Miami. And this is one I was very interested to see what would happen because Charlotte FC was on an 8-game winning streak. Not an 8-game unbeaten streak, an 8-game winning streak heading into this match. And then this was going to be the first game that Inter Miami was without Luis Suárez for his suspension due to the Leagues Cup final. So there was a lot of interest in this match to see how they would perform and how they would play on the road against a red hot team that looks like they could be one of the best teams in MLS, if not the best team in Major League Soccer right now. By the way, let me know who you guys think is the best team in MLS right now. Who is the hottest team right now at this moment? But Inter Miami, they just can't stay out of their way. They can't stay out of their way. They had this golden opportunity with Jordi Alba. He fired an absolute missile at Kalina, and Kalina saved it. And we know that Jordi Alba is a threat in the attack. You know, probably the best attacking fullback in maybe in MLS history. Honestly, he definitely is in the argument, but he probably is, especially with what he does in the final third. But he had a golden opportunity, great save by Kalina, and then they had another golden opportunity with Messi getting fouled inside the box. And Messi is normally clinical inside the box when it comes to penalties. He attempted the Panenka, and it got saved by Kalina. He was not falling for it. He wasn't falling for it. This was just a really, really bad game by Inter Miami. And also, it's just a good game by Charlotte FC. Charlotte FC is just a good team. They're a hot team. They're probably the hottest team in MLS. Maybe outside of the Seattle Sounders, it's really close. They're honestly, remind me a lot of each other. There's a lot of similarities between both of these teams. But Charlotte FC, Toklamade had an incredible game. Scored in the 34th minute, was dominating Inter Miami's backline. Inter Miami's backline has been bad all season, but they have been terrible in 2025, worse than they were last year, which is hard to believe. And then he scored again the 47th minute in the second half. And then in the 79th minute, Toto Alvarez gets his second yellow card. He gets sent off. Red card machine, yellow card machine, undisciplined player, very, very bad player, and a huge reason of why this team is bad in 2025. I can't tell you a single player that played well for Inter Miami yesterday. They were all bad. Inter Miami is just a bad team. And I'm not going to focus too much on Inter Miami, like the whole thing, because I think Charlotte FC definitely deserves their flowers because they've been so good in 2025. They've been so good. But I want to spend a second to talk about Inter Miami. They have been so bad. They have underperformed, underdelivered. And as this team is currently constructed, they will not win an MLS Cup in 2025. They will not win any trophies in 2025. They just don't have what it takes and the necessary players to win. They don't have a true striker. They don't have a good back line. And the players they need to step up and deliver for them are under delivering. Rodrigo de Paul, they got a very unique deal where they have a clause where they're going to buy a guy for $17 million. So you get him on loan right now. He's a TAM player in 2025. And he hasn't been good the last couple games. He's been bad. But maybe part of that is because he's been playing out of position. He's been playing a little bit more forward and more of an attacking midfielder role, right midfielder than his traditional 8 box-to-box midfielder role, right? Destroyer. So he hasn't been good. Yannick Bright hasn't been good lately. Busquets has been really bad. This was one of Messi's worst games for Inter Miami. This might be his worst game in 2025, to be honest with you. He was not good in this game. And normally it's because the players around him aren't good, but he didn't have a good game. And, listen, players have bad games. The whole team had a bad game. But he was not good in this game. Allende, traditionally never has a good game. He was bad in this game. I think Segovia was bad. Total Alvarez or Ustari would probably be the two worst players. Ustari is really, really bad. I knew they needed a goalkeeper if they were ever going to compete for an MLS Cup. This team just isn't good enough to win an MLS Cup. They have so many deficiencies. They have a bad manager. They're just not good. They're not good. They're not good. They're not going to win anything. Tamper expectations. They're not going to win anything. And I think they're going to have another coaching change for the third season in a row. We'll see what happens. But Inter Miami, one of the worst games, and they're heading into Seattle on Tuesday, which we will be doing a live watch along for that game because it's a rematch of the League's Cup final. And they're gonna have a lot of pressure on them, to deliver, especially with as bad as the game ended in the League's Cup final, as bad as this game has been. But going to Charlotte FC, I think Charlotte FC is arguably the best coach team in MLS. And I think Dean Smith doesn't get enough credit. I think Dean Smith is an incredible manager. Now, in this game, he had to watch from the sidelines because of card accumulation. But Dean Smith, what he's done at Charlotte FC has been incredible. This team plays great, great ball. And they've one of his biggest sticking points is he's defensively sound. And I just think that now that they have a legitimate attacker, and I'm not going to attack anybody. I'm not going to say anything about a former striker, but I think Tokole Made is a good striker or a good forward. I think he's good. And I think that you can see when he plays well, when Zaha actually looks good instead of disappointing, I think that this team looks good. And I think that there's a good chance that they could make some noise in the playoffs. And I'm very excited to see what they can do going forward when they match up against certain teams, whoever it may be in the playoffs. I think that they are going to be a thorn in a lot of team sides. And who knows? They could make a run. They're a team to watch out for. They could win MLS Cup in 2025. This is a team, they have a way better chances than Inter Miami does this season. So, great win by Charlotte FC. 9th win in a row. Last 10 matches unbeaten. They haven't lost a game since like July. Incredible, incredible performance by Charlotte FC. They deserve a ton of credit, and they've been incredible. They've been incredible. Now, the next match was the Philadelphia Union versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. Two heavyweights in Major League Soccer. The Philadelphia Union were the first place team in the Eastern Conference. Vancouver Whitecaps are a team that are very much in contention for the first place in the Western Conference. And Vancouver had a lead or were in first place for majority, or not majority, but a good part of the beginning of the 2025 season. Then they kind of stalled out. And then when they lost the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, they really stalled out. But I tell you what, since they got Thomas Müller, things have changed. Things have changed since they signed the German legend. And in this game, it was an absolute beatdown. This is the worst game I've seen Philadelphia play in a very long time. And it's by far the worst game that they played in 2025 under Bradley Cardinal, who looks like he could be the runner-up or in contention for Coach of the Year in Major League Soccer. But I tell you what, Vancouver played a perfect game. Like literally, they played a perfect game. Laporta scored in the 18th minute. And it just felt like they were just running circles around the Union. Like the Union just got caught on a swivel and they didn't really know how to react. Now, obviously, they're playing on the road at Vancouver long distance, but that really shouldn't matter. That really shouldn't matter. We saw Ali Ahmed just absolutely cooking the defenders. He had Glesnes on skates. And he also cooked Bedoya. Bedoya was so bad in this game playing right back, which is obviously not his primary position. He's a depth piece at this point in his career because he's almost 38 years old if he's not 38 already. But I think he needs to retire after how bad he was in this game. He was terrible. He was terrible. And Sabi was good too. Sabi had 2 goals. He had 2 goals. Okay. So Sabi scores in the 24th minute. And then it's 2-0. And things are looking really good for Vancouver. But, anything can happen in Major League Soccer. Teams can make a comeback, especially a team, like I said, the Union, who were good in 2025. They are not, you can't count them out. But then there's a penalty. Müller converts it to go up 3-0 in the 29th minute in the first half. Okay. Then they get fouled again and give up another penalty before the half. And they score again. It's 4-0. 4-0 at the half. Vancouver Whitecaps over the Union. Now you're just like, oh man, this is bad. This is really bad. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. And they were out of contention at that point for me. Then the second half starts. And also to the first half, I mean, they had 10 shots, 6 on target, the Vancouver Whitecaps. The Philadelphia Union only had 3, 0 shots on targets, no big chances created. The Vancouver Whitecaps had 6. They dominated possession 66-34. Vancouver Whitecaps were in complete control of this game the entire first half and the entire game. Entire game, they were in complete control. They finished like 19 shots, I think, in this game. 19 shots, 12 on target, 13 on target. And then Philadelphia had 10 with 2 on target. Weren't able to find the back of the net. But Thomas Müller in the 88th minute was able to find his hat trick and seal the deal 7-0 for Vancouver Whitecaps to beat the Philadelphia Union. And he was the player of the match by far. I mean, he had an assist too. He had a beautiful assist too. He had a beautiful assist. This is an incredible performance and shows you what he can do for this team down the final stretch of the 2025 season and why they are also, you notice I keep saying all these teams are contenders, but this is going to be a very interesting 2025 playoffs, MLS Cup playoffs, because of all the teams and how many competitors and how many close teams and how many good quality teams there are. It's just going to be an absolute hell of a race down the final stretch. I couldn't even tell you who I think is going to win because there's just so many good teams. And they're all hitting their stride at the perfect time. And so they're up 7-0, right? You know, the crazy part is that Rio started up top, and I don't even think he had that great of a game. I think he was probably the worst player on the pitch for he was probably on the worst player on the pitch for the Vancouver Whitecaps in this match. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Müller playing a 10 or false 9. I mean, he's just so effective. It doesn't even matter. Berhalter was great on crossing and set pieces like he always is. He's very good at whipping the ball in and setting players. He had like 2 assists in this game. This is just a good team. It's a good team, and they got that final piece that I think they can tie it all in. And when Ryan Gauld is back, who knows what else they'll be able to do. But this is concerning for the Union. Now, Rick had, this shows you how bad that they miss Andre Blake in goal. Because Rick, I mean, a couple of these goals weren't his fault, but a couple of them were. I mean, he just bad defending, bad goalkeeping. Nathan Harriel was not good at center back today. He was terrible. That's why a lot of USMNT fans were not wanting him to get called up into any USMNT camp. But this whole team just did not play well, and they were obviously missing some people. But still, even missing a couple people, you should not be losing 7-0. 7-0 is disgraceful. Disgraceful. And this is not, you don't want to panic if you're a Philadelphia Union fan. Don't want to panic. It is one game. But at this point in the season, with 4 games left, you want to be trending up. You don't want to be trending down. And both of these teams seem to be trending in opposite directions. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks. MLS Cup playoffs are a little bit over 4 weeks away. And it's going to be an incredible finish. What a weekend. What an incredible weekend. What was your favorite moment of this past weekend? Who was the best player, the best match? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, who is your favorite and who do you think is the best team in MLS at the moment? There's so many good options you could pick. It's really hard to just pick one. I mean, it's really going to come down to the playoffs. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to have someone that's running away. You want to kind of see all these good teams competing. You want to see high-level soccer, and you want to see a competitive MLS Cup playoffs and hopefully something memorable and an instant classic. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But, man, it's also nice to have all these big names in the league who aren't washed and they can still contribute. It just makes me very happy to be covering Major League Soccer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.